Stephen, it's great to see you. We're here at Realcomm 2026 in San Diego. Just got in this morning. We're just kicking off. This is the first afternoon of the first day. And I think, we haven't even had a chance to catch up yet, but Realcomm I find a good event and an interesting event because it's a little bit more, you have people coming from all different angles, maybe is the way to put it, right? You not only have all the different stakeholder groups represented, owners of buildings, technology providers, larger technology providers, innovators within large technology providers. You have small firms. You have, we own a few buildings and we're really investing in technology and we're here. And then you have even across like use cases. It's not just controls. It's not just HVAC. It's not just analytics. It's a little bit of everything.
That's right.
And I find that to be a refreshing place to just get a pulse check on the market. I don't, is that also kind of how you feel about this event, what makes this event special?
Yes, certainly. It's the coalescence around the outcomes is key.
Yes.
And I love that about it. I mean, I think my favorite thing about Realcomm is networking.
Yes.
It's being able to see you, for example, who I haven't get a chance to, normally get a chance to see regularly. And then, yes, it's just these discussions around outcomes that bring in traditionally disparate parties or perhaps folks that would only otherwise encounter each other on job sites or in project planning committees, things like that. So what a amazing opportunity to meet with stakeholders that are important to what we all do within our own day-to-day. And then, of course, it's even better being here on day one, seeing all of the expo hall workings come together, see the booths get constructed. It's always a special opportunity.
When I got in this morning, I walked by. I mean, most of the sessions today were upstairs, as you know, and there were just boxes everywhere. And there were a few people who said, "I don't think they're going to be ready to open up Realcomm." And I'm thinking, I think this is like year 25 or 30 of Realcomm. I think we're okay.
Very well oiled.
And now it looks a lot better. That's an interesting point. What I also find about Realcomm, when I look at and I just talked about this. I just came from my talk. When I look at our market, one of the challenges or maybe characteristics is you have a lot of fragmentation on the buyer side. It's not like there are 3 buyers of our solution, right? It's not like airlines. There's not 100 airlines. There's 5 or 6. There's not 100 ways to ship a package from place to place. There's 3 or 4. In our market, there are some really innovative solution users of solutions that like, oh, we have 10 buildings in Nashville and Memphis. It's like, cool, and they're here potentially. I'm sure you see a lot of that too, just the reach of Tridium and the ability to build kind of on the Niagara Framework. But that's what's also interesting. It's not, we're doing it one way, we're doing it A, B, or C. It's like there could be 1,000 ways that you can do something.
Certainly. And that customization is so critical because, as we know, not every building looks the same. Its purpose, purposes rather, will be fundamentally different. And you have to have at least a product, you have to have delivery mechanisms that are able to account for those variances. And all, really, they're all there just to effectively a solve for the same problems. If we think about that, we zoom out to 30,000 feet perspective.
It's I think that the market is vast. Realcomm though makes it feel maybe a little bit more approachable, right? You can come away from this event, and even if it's hard to wrap your head around everything going on, everything happening. I think the Niagara Summit, which I think was the last time I saw you, same thing, right? On one hand, it's vast, but it makes it a little bit more, you can wrap your head around what's actually going on.
And this is a great kind of springboard event for us, just coming from the summit. And we get to see a lot of the partners that showed up there and exhibited, and then, of course, other people that didn't get a chance to attend. And so it's a lot of, for us, it's carrying forward some of the messaging that we did exhibit, at least at the Niagara Summit. And then it gets us closer, from my perspective, as an industry. The networking aspect is so critically important for information sharing. If I want to talk about new product releases, I need venues like this. I need the community, rather access to the community to be able to share that.
One of my favorite slogans or comments is feedback is the breakfast of champions, and it really is, right? Like, and sometimes even in the work I do, there are firms I'm working with that just aren't really doing a great job of getting feedback. It's like you just need to start, like, get out there, get out of the building. And I think this is a good example of how you get out of the building.
It is. Marketing is one of the most significant challenges I found in our industry in particular. And I think maybe it's because it's so multifaceted insofar as you've got so many stakeholders, so many influencers, the buying authority.
Yeah. And
then, of course, I don't know, bring in the government entities are the ones that are kind of effectively setting the regulations around the building types and things like that. I just, from our perspective, this is what makes this event so valuable. This is why we continuously turn to it. Yeah. And I think just to fall back from what I mentioned at the summit, that's such a kind of an integrator heavy. We had a lot of end user customers show up, which was really something that was exceptional about the event. But then it's access to the folks that are from the different verticals. Yeah. And again, that marketing is a challenge for us all. And because we have them just across the booth, we can talk to them. Yeah. We can have a meaningful conversation that gets in more than surface depth. Yeah. We can actually dig in and get into the nuts and bolts, and I just value that so much because, again, the marketing's that is a tough nut to crack in our industry.
It is. I think one of the maybe observations I have about Tridium, and I'd love your take. It started as a product and a stack, a framework, really targeting the integrators and obviously the OEMs, the product companies that are trying to build an open product. But to your point of the Niagara Summit this year having a lot of owners and operators and end users there, my sense, and maybe you have some data or just have some other anecdotes or just stories, it seems like it's elevating a little bit more where I am a buyer, I own buildings, and I want Tridium, or I want to use Tridium, or I want to learn about Tridium, or like Tridium, it's no longer just, like you think about, you buy a computer, you probably don't know all the components in your computer. Like, it's a Mac, it's good enough, but there's a little bit more, and I think that's probably the sign of maturity of our market, of your product, of your offering, but also that point you made, like they're coming to the event.
The decision makers, it's interesting to me because whereas perhaps a real estate investment trust or a building owner said, all right, I'm going to go reach out to a consultant engineer who's going to basically create this for me. And I'm just going to be effectively like a passive bystander. I'll weigh in when I need to see a change, but at the end of the day, I'm going to contract that out and I'm going to let the people that know what they're doing execute. Yep. It's different now because now it's like the actual building owners and users are starting to hire those experts so that they're able to make all of those decisions internally. They don't need to hire a consultant, and when they do, like for you, it's very targeted, it's very specific. Yeah. Instead of just giving them the whole keys, here's everything, just make it happen. They're much more invested, not only in the outcomes, but the delivery and things like that. And I think that's also why we saw so many end users show up to the Niagara Summit, and that's why they show up here. I mean, to be honest with you, Jim's been unlocking that for decades. Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool to be here because this is kind of where it all started, right?
Yeah. No, I know it is. It's it's great. I wanted to ask you general thoughts. I mean, so I've had a couple sessions earlier today. I've had a lot of conversations already. AI is a big topic. I feel like my views of how AI will change our industry, if you just put it like, it will change our industry. Yeah. There are some views it will change for the negative, for the positive. A lot of that negativity is not specifically on our industry. It's funny that Anthropic report, it kind of said like facility managers, least disruptible, or facility technicians, engineers, like the least disrupted group of any part of the economy, whereas like attorneys were, most of your work can be done by AI. So like, I guess you could say it's not so bearish, but my views are like very much in flux, right? Uh-huh. Like you can observe what's going on. I'll share some of mine, but I'm also just interested in like, where is your head? Because I would assume you very thoughtful, also product role, focused on the product, the market, where is the market going? Mm-hmm. Probably don't have like, this is exactly what's going to happen in 3 years because of AI, and this is exactly what's going to happen in 5 years. It's probably a little bit more of like, this is really interesting. I'm really attentive to it. But I don't know, what kind of current state of your thinking?
I love this conversation, specifically because for all of the negative aspects of our industry, here's one thing that we've been doing for a long time, and it's automation.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's intelligence layered on top of automation to I think to an unreal extent. I think that's what we're tapping into, because my ability to effectively control the set point of something or move water faster, I can do these things automatically. I don't need a human in the mix.
Right.
But the idea is, can we use AI to improve our decision-making speed, the quality of the way that we operate our buildings? And yes, I think we can. Now, of course, normalized data is key, right? I have to have access to data, and that means bad data, which means I need to see when something's bad, I need to know what it is and show me what an optimized building looks like. And so we're just in the nascent stages of that. And the best part about our industry is that we've always believed in open protocols. So data standardization, which is one of the critical hurdles to be able to unlock those outcomes, already solved for. And we're already automating things at scale. So this is where I think the intelligence that we're able to add on top of the automation that's already existence today, that's where our value emerges. But I do think we kind of know where it's heading from the standpoint that we know that when it comes to buildings, we need to be ensuring that, number one, they are safe, sustainable, and then
comfortable.
Yes, exactly. And then energy efficiency is just a part of the way we operate. You know, we're not thinking about waste, or excuse me, we're not focusing on the waste because we've already eliminated it through our automation.
It's so interesting. I made this observation earlier, just like listening and talking to people, that we've moved, and it's not just building automation, but we've moved from just an old, safe, industrial company with an industrial growth profile to kind of like a hot growth tech-enabled industry, not directly because of anything we've done, but just because huge build out, industrialization, a lot of physical stuff that's being built needs to be controlled, needs to be monitored, needs to be automated. But you're also right. I mean, we've had automation in buildings for decades, and it's not eliminated. I mean, if anything, our issue is we don't have enough people, and we're not sure how are we going to replace them all. And you know, a lot of good conversations here about that too. But
oh, indeed. Yeah, I think automation is clearly. I mean, what problem did I avoid when we automated everything? Well, you didn't have people, or rather have the labor required to be able to solve for the problem. So you said, okay, I'm going to automate it. And at that one point, I'm sure there was a lot of wrench turners that were like, hey, that's killing my job. Like, I'm the one that goes down to the boiler and adjusts the valve. And so, those concerns were, I imagine, were heard by many people that were pushing for automation at that point. But here we are, decades later. Those facility operators are still in the building. They're just doing something different. And I think that's the key. The fears are certainly there, and they're justifiable. But whenever there's a problem solved, there's an opportunity to solve another one.
My current take is that we're not, especially our industry, but I think it's overstated more broadly, but in our industry, I don't think we're going to have the robot take the job. But I do think you could argue the change that you described, right, from I'm going to run down to the boiler to I'm doing something else that's higher value, I think that the roles could change a little bit faster or could change more than we're used to historically. And that could create a little bit of friction maybe that we haven't seen. But this idea that, I don't need people anymore in my building. I mean, there was, I don't remember the exact stat, but somebody earlier today noted on one of the panels that if you look at buildings that have, you could kind of target tenant satisfaction, and it goes down as you have more openings of what you, how many facility managers you need and how many you have. And the difference is the openings. So as you have fewer people in the building running the building, you have lower customer satisfaction. I'm actually going to look, I mean, it makes perfect sense,
It makes perfect sense,
It makes perfect sense, right? We know how buildings work. But I thought that's actually, I'd love to read more if there's a study about that. But it's great.
It does. And this is even more exciting that we're here. And these topics are being discussed today. Certainly is going to be highlighted more to come over the next 2 days.
Well, Stephen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad we got to record it because sometimes we just have fun impromptu conversations at the hall, and then I forget what we talked about, or I just don't capture it all. So we captured it. But again, from Realcomm, San Diego 2026, Stephen Holicky, Joe Aamidor, and thanks. Have a great show.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.